I would've sent man mental. I'm a walking flexing journal, yeah. I got bands on me, I'm orchestral.
Sing a song?
Yes.
You know, waves.
Waves.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in the 8th and the last session of I-Series webinar Tones of Tradition. My name is Smita and I'm proud to be a part of Yamaha family. I wish you all a very happy Janmashtami. This webinar, Tones of Tradition, we begin the journey in June as a simple way to communicate with music educators, learners, professionals about the Indian music. We share tips and useful information to help everyone learn music. We shared practice tools for Indian classical, everyday practice routine, innovative learning, improvement points, raga scales, styles, and also about musicians' marketing. We support the concept of learning music along with musical instrument, which are specially made in India. We took the initiative last year and we want to share our journey with you, how we come up with the new keyboards which we launched last year. Please have a look. Thank you.
ऐसी लागी लगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन वो तो गली 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 गुन गाने लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन में पली बन के जोगन चली महलों में पली बन के जोगन चली मीरा रानी दीवानी कहाने लगी कोई रोके नहीं ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं, मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, कोई रोके नहीं, कोई रोके नहीं, रो कोई रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं, मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, बैठी संतों के संग रंगे मोहन के रंग, बैठे संतों के संग रंगे मोहन के रंग, मेरा प्रेमी प्रीतम को मनाने लगी, वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, मेरा हो गई मगन। नमस्कार, आप सबको कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं और बधाइयां।
How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's safe. Good to see all the attendees of the last episode. For this last episode that we have, Tones of Tradition.
Huge shout out to all of you for being here and making it to this webinar. We have today attendees using laptops and mobile phones. जो लोग लैपटॉप यूज कर रहे हैं, you have two screens where you can see the visuals and you can see us. But for the phone users, we need you to switch in between. Don't worry, I'll quickly guide you through it. So जो लोग people using laptops, on your left hand side you can see some visuals, and on the right hand side, on the top right, you can see us. You can just quickly change it around also. On the bottom right, you can see a small chat box where you can answer, where you can type in your questions, where you can talk to us whenever we are asking questions, and that would be really lovely. Well, the same goes for the mobile users. When you switch in between your screens, you'll find visuals, you'll find us, and you'll find a chat box. So you can just quickly type in your answers. If you've got it, अगर आपको समझ में आया तो you can quickly type a hi, hello, good evening, anything, so that I know that you've got it. I can see some comments already, but then just so that we all can go along together. All right. Cool. So today we'll be talking with a mix of Hindi and English. हिंदी और इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे हम ताकि सबको समझ आए.
Exactly. So Hindi and English try करेंगे. We'll try to get everybody's attention, and I want to try something in the end of the show. Let me see if we can do that. Try to invite somebody from the attendees. Let's see if it works. So the last 7 weeks have been awesome. We could meet all of you wonderful people. Special thanks to Yamaha for bringing this episodes to you guys. They made it possible for you, so really thank Yamaha for that. Indian classical and Western classical music have been there since the time of, say, kings, so to say. I want to ask all of you all, you can type in your chat box which you have there, at what age did you get introduced to music? It can be classical music, Indian Western music, anything. Yeah, there? Anybody coming there? Yeah, we've got some chats coming in. Yeah, okay. Seems
Many
like
people, being introduced
many of
at
them
a very young age.
I know. So, I mean, I think a lot of people have been, introduced at an early age. But about the history, I don't think a lot of people are aware of the history, or maybe not, don't think it's important. Now, even myself, I was not too much, learning about the history of, a particular piece or something like that. But I remember, in school, we have all this in school. When we studied history, especially, we learned about these fights and the dates. I think everybody remembers those things, but I'm sure with music, it is a little bit, we don't think it's right there. So for me also, like as one of my friends in when I was in Russia, there was one of the friends of mine who changed the way I think about classical music, Western classical music, so to say. She said like knowing about history, a little bit about the piece can let you understand the feeling that you have to bring to the piece forward. Are we still on here?
Yeah.
Connected. Yeah, so we get to know how the pieces are connected, and what feeling we have to bring to the pieces. So in the first webinar, we started off with these the scales that we did. Adolphe
Yeah.
sang for us the Bilawal scale. So Adolphe, can you just show us the again as a quick freshness of the Bilawal that we did?
जैसे आप सब जानते हैं हमने फर्स्ट वेबिनार में 2 राग शेयर किए थे. बिलावल, we know it is a morning rag and it lets you bring the freshness in your performance जैसे कि देश मेरा सबसे सुंदर है, देश मेरा सबसे सुंदर है, देश मेरा सबसे पाक, देश मेरा सबसे पाक, देश मेरा सबसे सुंदर है. तो यहाँ पे आपने देखा you saw as it is a morning rag, it just brings out the wave of freshness in you. While performing, we discussed about another midnight rag that was called the rag Bageshri, which brings the drowsy feeling while performing. कौन करत तोरी बिनती पियरिवा, कौन करत तोरी बिनती पियरिवा, मानो न मानो हमारी बात, कौन करत तोरी बिनती पियरिवा. Western classical music does not have such characteristics as you can see in this beautiful piece. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you might have heard of it.
That's a beautiful, so I don't know, a lot of people don't know about this, but people think that For Elise is a very happy song. But to tell you the fact, it is made because his girlfriend died. So it is not a very happy song, it's a kind of sad song. So today's topic, as you all will know, is about Indian classical music and Western classical music. So we'll be sharing with you a lot of things that are very similar and things that make them distinct in their own way. However, as I said in the beginning, knowing about a little background about something would really, really help you immensely to perform better. So just know whatever piece you're playing, whether it is Indian classical music or Western classical music, knowing a little bit about the song or the piece can really help you emote better. It'll just help your performance better.
जैसे if I was singing a piece, सारे का, जैसे आप जानते हैं, while singing we use two main techniques, that is the chest voice to sing our lower notes, Sa re ga. And in Indian classical music, we use the head voice to sing the high notes. Sa re ga. Similarly, in Western classical singing, we use another technique called the falsetto. That is a mixture of using the muscles in your throat and the head voice, which goes something like. So it is a very thin voice that you bring out from the throat, and this is something that is missing in the Indian classical singing. And there are many techniques used in Indian classical too. As you might have heard, there's a technique called murkhi ya harkatein. I'm pretty sure it is used in every Indian classical song that has been ever sung, because the murkhi is like a ornament, yeah, something that beautifies the song. Ah, just imagine you have a note sa. Sa. You have another note ga. Ga. To move from sa to ga, just listen to me very carefully here. Sa. Sa. Ga. तो इन दो नोट के बीच में जो मैंने हरकत किया, जो मैंने ब्यूटिफाई किया, उसको हम मुर्की बुलाते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय मुर्की, द ब्यूटिफिकेशन of the movement from one note to another. This is also called microtones in English. In Western, we have a technique called the vibrato. Vibrato, as the name suggests, it's vibrating. Whenever you're singing a note, at the end of the note, you just take your voice up and down in a oscillatory motion, and it just goes something like just like this. So when you're ending it, it just vibrates on the spot. It's on note and it just vibrates there.
Exactly. That's a nice way of explaining about singing. I think they've got their own distinct way of making you can understand what kind of vocals are in motion right now. We come to a part where we talk about a band. I'm sure many of you are part of bands. I just happened to see one of the chats where we have one very young, attendee today. He's been learning for last 5 months. I can't remember the name. However, it's great to know, everybody is always, part of a band. Band is like a family. We do everything together. In classical music, there is a band which is comprising of many members. We commonly know it as orchestra or symphonic orchestra, right? So it has some violins, a cello, you have percussions, trumpet. They're categorized in sections. I'm sure everybody's watched television, might have seen like a big, kind of show where all violins are playing and all these people playing. So I was very intrigued when I was, quite small and wanted to know, like, what are these guys playing all together? Okay, so I quickly tell you, what is this orchestra made of? Okay, so a full orchestra, if you look at from strings and wind instruments, it starts from like string section. The string section is about, we have 34 violins. Okay, then we have 12 violas, we have 10 cellos, and 8 basses. That makes like a string section. Then comes your wind section. So winds is, as you can understand with the name winds, it is blowing instruments, like blowing wind inside them. So usually 1 piccolo, 2 or 3 flutes, 2 or 3 clarinets, about 3 oboes, usually 2 bassoons, 1 contrabassoon, 1 English horn. That would make like a wind section. And then comes your brass section, which is like 3 or 4 trumpets. Then you have some horns, like about 5 or 6 horns, French horns. You have about 2 or 3 trombones, 1 bass trombone, and symbasses and a tuba. That is your brass section. And finally, we have the percussion section. Now we have a drum kit, but in the drums, we use only the kick, the snare, and some cymbals. Because along with that, they have some xylophones, you have glockenspiel. So that's a lot for a band, right? It's I'm kind of tired by telling you the whole orchestra lineup. So like basically this is how the lineup is. So everyone is playing their own part. It's all written down. They can all read the notes and they play exactly how it's written. They contribute to the piece. Okay? They catch. The catch is the vocalist will only sing the melody, and the rest of the band will play in harmony. Meaning he will play the third note or the fifth note or the seventh. Kind of build like harmony for them, and it'll uplift the vocal melody. Okay, it just adds more textures to the piece. So there's no much scope for improvising. You can't improvise too much in a set thing like that. However, if you look at the Indian classical concept, the band is very, very minimal. It has tabla, it has tanpura, it has I'll just choose this one. So it's like a tabla, it has tanpura, a vocalist, and the other instruments would maybe they will add like another tanpura. That's all it can happen. In Carnatic, they would had like the tabla would be replaced with a mridangam. Okay, so the concept is more melody than adding. There's no harmony and stuff like that. It's only melody. That's the main concept. And the individual, the performer, the singer who's there, he shines through his recital, impounding the ragas. जितने भी ragas है उसके वो उनको गाएगा सिर्फ एक ही रागा को लेके. They will do it in different like one of the webinars we did, different pillars they'll use to make the pura performance, to make it beautiful. They'll add all that stuff. However, the other members, जो दूसरे members होते हैं, they play in the background. They're just there for the adding the just to be there for music, to give them a backing music. Occasionally kabhi you'll find like a tabla player playing like uska virtuosities, jo bhi uska playing style hai, they'll try to play something like improvise some things like that. So that is like very rare, not very common. But it's quite interesting to know how both of them are very widely loved by a lot of people, but simplicity and a lot of musicians, so it's very interesting, right?
Right, Glenn. Having the i500 made me see all the sections that you just mentioned. Like it had everything from the brass to the wind, everything. It is so easy to see all of them here. Instruments of Indian music are minimal. We have the Riyaz function that gives us the complete set band to practice and perform our songs. It gives us, as we've seen, it gives us the tanpura, it gives us the tabla, and it gives us all the scales that we can perform in. As we are talking about the Indian classical music, one main aspect is of tals. Tals consist of different matras in a cycle. It's like एक cycle में बहुत सारी मात्राएं होती हैं जो एक ताल बनाती हैं. In Western classical music, we have time signatures denoted by the number of notes in one bar. So if this is one bar, the time signatures will tell you about the number of notes in one particular bar. So it just keeps on going. So we saw many tals in these previous webinars. We had tals that had 16 counts, like the teen tal. I'll just quickly show it to you. Dha, dhin, dhin, dha, dha, dhin, dhin, dha, dha, tin, tin, ta, ta, dhin, dhin, dha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So here you could see the 16 notes played in a teen tal. Moving on, we have a tal that has seven matras in it. That is called the Rupak Tal. It goes like ti, ti, na, dhi, na, dhi, na, ti, ti, na, dhi, na, dhi, na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here you could see that the focus or the concentration is given on the first, the fourth, and the fifth tal, so that we can sing it easily in a 7 matra tal. Moving on, we have a tal that has 10 beats in it. This is something which keeps on changing. There's a lot more to learn in this. This is called, the tal is called jhap which has 10 counts in it. Dhi dhi na, ti na, dhi na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here you could see the 10 matras being played in Jhaptal. The concept of tals and riyaz is practice. So tals have many matras used, like 16 beats and 7 beats, 10 beats, 5 beats, 4 beats. Keherwa has 8, Dadra has 6. So there are so many tals with different time signatures if I were to compare it to a Western classical count. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Awesome. So I just played some, just doodling around. A lot of people were talking about in the last sessions about modes. So I just now was, I just took a quick, a chordal mode that I played. I used like a couple of them, and I was just playing around two basic chord structures that I was playing. So a lot of people in the previous sessions were asking about modes, right? So modes is very similar to raga scales, right? So can you all, I mean, if anybody knows, can you just quickly tell me how many modes are there, that we know? Can you tell me the number? I want to know how many people know how many modes are there. How many modes do you guys know? Let's start from there. Nobody knows. That's strange. Okay.
I'm pretty sure the audience here has an idea, but उसको क्या बोलते हैं, कैसे बोलते हैं, मतलब कि modes is
Okay.
something
So
Glenn has
that's a trick. That's the trick. I want to trick the guys today. So okay, it's cool. Don't worry. So modes are 7 kind of modes. They have. I'll put in the screen here. You can see the modes. There's Ionian. There's Dorian. There's Phrygian. There's Lydian. There's Mixolydian. There's Aeolian and Locrian. Total of 7 different modes. Okay. Now I'll show you the similarity. Now, they're very similar to the Ionian is very similar to a Bilawal scale. Dorian is very similar to a Kafi scale. Phrygian is very similar to a Bhairavi. Lydian is very close to a Yaman. Mixolydian is Kamaj. Ionian would be Asavari. And Locrian would be Thodi. Now, this is where the magic happens. You've got to watch very carefully. Okay, so Bilawal, Kafi, Bhairavi, Yaman, Khamaj, Todi, all these are available right there with Adolf in the keyboard in the i500. So now that's very amazing for you, because right now, just as I mentioned for everybody, if you guys know about modes, people said we don't know about modes, which now you can say you know all the modes because you have all the modes right there inside the i500. So if you just play back, you can immediately learn them, and when you applying it to play, you can just use them to play. So what I just played also was based on what I learned with the Indian music, where you're talking about using the tals, playing the 16 notes or the 3 notes or 7 notes, like some groups like that, and using the scales, try to play around with that. So it's pretty interesting, right? So now that is amazing for me to know that everything is there in the board for you to learn.
This is why I like the i500 so much. I can practice
It's good.
vocals with all the necessary tools. I have Riyaz, I have raga scales, I've got all the tals to help me. And not to forget the styles. The variety I get is very impressive.
Nice. So probably now that you have the freedom to explore, different styles of music, you can even mix the Western and the Indian concept together. I think a lot of people, are they like this concept of fusion, right? So,
True.
Adolf, you have a keyboard. I would love to play, and then you could sing, but then we have this connection that is, which is never gonna end.
I
Yes. So,
can
can
play
you
music.
just
Yeah.
any of your favorite mode that you would like to sing for us,
See,
in like a
yeah,
fusion kind of thing?
that's
I
the
think
best
maybe
part.
something like a rock, something
Yeah,
like some
that's the best
rock
part of
beats and some
music
that
because
thing would really sound good.
you can just play around with music anyway. So let's have a rock version of an Indian classical song.
Nice, interesting.
I hope you can listen to the groove.
Yeah.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिम्
Wow. That
I just
sounds like
love.
really cool.
So I'm sad that that we have reached the end of this webinar, and we've reached the end of all the webinars. We've had a great journey throughout. We have covered all the topics from your exercises to the rags to the Bollywood songs that have the rags and everything Indian. The whole keyboard has been with us throughout, and Glenn and me have have had a blast just talking to you guys, answering your questions, and. It's been a great journey throughout, and I'd like to thank all of you for being here. And that's it from my side.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really a pleasure to, you know, probably have Adolf with us to sing throughout all these 7, 8 weeks that we had, and all of you being religiously coming for this session. It, as Adolf already said, I've been always saying it's really good fun for us to come up with these new ideas. We will surely try to come up with some more stuff later on. So you always have our emails. You can always email us. Facebook is there, so you can do that. So thank you for all that. I think now we'll get into the question and answer round. With everybody loves to put the questions further. So Q&A. You have any questions? Just shoot the questions, and we can get to answering them. All right. So let's take some questions now. Yes. Oh, we have a question from Mohan. Some tips for Riyaz.
Riyaz, जैसे Mohan, what I'd like to tell you is fix a routine. Fixing a routine would help, like it would solve most of your problems and anything that you want help with. Fix a time. Any time of the day is good. Morning is good. Fix a place where there's no distraction. Yeah. Pick your tools, the tools that you need, the tanpura, the scales, the rags, whatever you're doing. Have a clear set of mind that अगर आज मैं ये practice करने वाला हूँ, stick to it. Yeah. So these are some small tips. Then you can move on the focus of like if today is about range, just work on range. Work on range for 2 3 days. Then work on memorization, and just pick your topics one by one, and then you can just get through.
Correct. I hope, Bowen, you understood what all you got to do now. Some tips on Riyaz. Paul, what is your keyboard, Glenn? It's a Yamaha. And I was looking for this. Oh, it's here. Sagar. He's 8 years old, and that's really awesome.
Nice.
To see an 8-year-old attending webinars like this online, getting information. That's awesome. All right, I have a question from Anand. He says, what is the difference between vibrato and tremolo?
I'm sorry, I cannot.
The question from Anand, what is the difference between vibrato and tremolo?
So a vibrato comes mostly at the end of a note that you're singing, when you're singing or when you're stretching a note. Tremolo is a style of singing that you can use throughout. It's just a shaky voice, or see, tremolos you can see on the guitars, on the effects that you put. So a vibrato would be only at the ends or in the middle of an elongated note. Tremolo is a style of singing that uses more oscillations on the note. Maybe Glenn can explain more about the tremolo.
Vibrato, as already Adolf explained, it is more of, it changes pitch. Vibrato changes pitch. Tremolo doesn't change pitch. So if you see a keyboard player playing an electric piano, or a guitarist playing with the whammy bar, he would play a tremolo. So tremolo will just make it very wavy. It will not change pitch. It will go, it just makes that. But when you're using vibrato, it just goes. So it changes pitch. That is a very fine change between both. Vibrato, you will find in singing, obviously people use it, but a lot of blowing instruments, if you see, when you blow on a saxophone or a flute, you will see eventually the note will start shaking. So that is basically.
Maybe on the vibrato I can just show it to you. Can you listen to that? There's a clear distinction about so it's a flute I'm using, and it just goes up and down. It just changes.
So vibratos, as you showed just now on the keyboard, has got different variations. For the vocalist, what he mentioned in the beginning, like opera singers, when they sing, they go with a lot of long vibratos, but they change, the voice modulates a little differently. Yeah. What else? What else do we have? Okay, we have a question from Vineet. How many fusion music are in Hindi songs, usually like rock plus Indian classical? Oh man, Indians, Hindi songs, like you're talking about movie songs, right? I mean, to my knowledge, if I have to think about it, there was a movie which was based on Indian classical singer going to the US, and then how his friend goes there and he starts chanting the regular chants. I think it was maybe Ajay Devgan and I think Salman, that kind of movie. I don't remember the name though, but that movie has got a lot of songs like rock based, and they've got used a lot of chanting, like classical old chants. And then obviously there are so many other hip hop tracks that have come. Bhor Bare Panghat was one of the songs. I
Yeah.
think everybody has heard that, very fusion, using the same thing, and they use like a hip hop beat. That is a very common thing that I think everyone can hear.
Yeah, even if you search for specific artists or specific platforms, you can find a lot of fusion music
Yeah,
happening, which I think is really great. You have your Coke Studio, you have Shankar Mahadevan sir, you have कैसे बोलते हैं Raghu Dikshit sir, who mix the whole concept of Western and
exactly.
Eastern, and just it's
Yeah, I
just
mean, also if you have like, if you've heard like instrumental music, like what's her name, the sitar, Ravi Shankar's daughter. I forget her name every time. Not Nora Jones, but the other one. Um, what is Ravi Shankar's daughter's name? I forgot. Hmm. Yeah, he's. I mean, she plays sitar. She's a wonderful sitar player, and her concept also very similar. She uses very, organic kind of sounds, and she plays a sitar, playing ragas. It's fabulous to listen to. All right, we have next question from Sagar. How to set keyboard with different tone for right hand and left hand? Raga is very simple. On the keyboard, like the I series has got a right hand and a dual voice and a split voice. So split voice means you split the keyboard into two halves. Left hand would be your left hand, whatever you're playing. So I always recommend people using some strings on the left hand, or some pads on the left hand. Right hand could be any of your melody instrument like flute, and then to make the flute more beautiful, you can add a layer of maybe some pads, very soft in the background, so it just complements the flute beautifully. Okay, so that way you can make those settings, and then obviously you can add make it sound more beautiful by adding effects. Like you can add a lot of reverb. If you're talking like flute, it'll just sound so beautiful. Adolf, you have flute right now on your keyboard.
true, true.
So can you just switch, just press the dual thing. I think automatically you'll get another sound coming in the background. Just pick one note, play an octave note, like a high note.
You can hear a small
Yeah, there's a small pads that you can hear. It just makes it more beautiful. So if you're playing any piece, like a running piece or something like that, it just makes it so nice to listen to. All right. The Vineet question is pop plus Hindi. As I said, Vineet, I just told you about the thing. You can probably Google it and find out the movie that I told you about. That is there. And obviously the old songs, if you go back, there's a session that we did about the styles of music, how the olden movies, looking at the 40s and the 50s, where they still used a lot of the same raga structures and playing it. Not rock at that time, but they were using it in more contemporary music that they were using. But the form was still raga scales, Indian classical. All right. Next question comes from Vivan. Hi, Vivan. I think Vivan is one of them who's been like with us for
late.
yeah. So thank you, Vivan, for being here every day. You should get an award. Let me see if I can do. Let me see. Please hold on. Where is Vivan? Vivan. There's Vivan. Vivan. The Vivan's thing is on. Vivan, can you speak something? Hello? Vivan? I don't think he can. His microphone is switched off, maybe. Okay, anyway, I just thought I'd try this, but it's not possible. It's okay. So Vivan's question was, is there any keyboard of Yamaha that has a Moonlight Sonata?
Ooh.
Okay, so Vivan, when we talk about pieces like this, there are many things that go with putting stuff inside the keyboard. The most important thing is copyrights. Okay, that's why we don't put a lot of stuff which is very common, in the in the keyboard. So Moonlight Sonata, if you want, you can go to the Yamaha musicsoft.com. There are a lot of sheet music, there's MIDI music, there's audio music. You can download that from there. Pre-installed in the song, you will never find stuff like that. So if you want that, you can always go on the website of yamahamusicsoft.com. One word, yamahamusicsoft.com. Okay, and you'll get Moonlight Sonata. Yes, Naveen, thank you very much. Anushka Shankar is her name. Fabulous sitar player, beautiful human being also. So she really plays amazing. Her music concepts really, really interesting. All right, another question from Vineet. Okay, how to choose tone and rhythm for a song in Arranger? Oh, this is very easy. This is very easy, Vineet. If you have the I series, probably if you have the i400, there's a button called Music Database. Okay, in the i500 also there is, but in the i400 specifically, because it's for students, we've put in like a whole list of songs, the settings of all the songs, that you can just switch and just click, and I'm sure you can find out the song that relates to the song which is kind of written there, and you can play those songs. If you don't find the songs, there is an easy method to check that out. So on the keyboard, you have something called the category. Okay, now if you say, for example, you take a song which is like say a sad song or a slow love song or whatever, so it's a slow song or a love song. So you cannot, if you search in the world section, you'll be wasting your time. But you should check in the ballad section. Okay, now there'll be like a couple of ballads. Maybe you can try one ballad or two ballads. I'm sure you'll find one of the ballads which will actually match your song, and then just work out the song on that style and just save it in your settings and you're sorted out. That is the very easy way to do it. A lot of people ask me also when I'm coming down on stage and say, after doing a demo, they ask me, how do you do that? And I was like, I just spend a lot of time on the board. Like being a specialist, I can listen to any key or any sound and tell you which keyboard it is from also, because I've been working with them for so long. So you just be familiar with your keyboard, spend some more time with the keyboard, will just make it so much fun to select the right things, and editing them will really be awesome. I always spend a lot of time on editing my sounds. Not that the sounds are bad, the sounds are great. However, my ears always need that extra tweaking that I always like to do, like adding some effects, because all the sounds that are there in the board is you can select them and start playing them immediately. However, there's always a time where you think, oh, you know what, I want to add something else. I want to use maybe, like as I was playing guitar, I want to use the DSP function where I'm using that extra, that amp sound coming out from the guitar. So that I want to put out. So that way it makes a lot of difference. You can add all these funky things that comes with the keyboard for you to experiment. All right. Okay, next we have Vivan. Sorry, I do not have a mic. Okay, no problem, Vivan. That's fine. Yes, that's good. Let's see if we can try someone else. Allow camera, not mic. Let's see, do we have Hitesh? Do we have Hitesh there? Just trying to pull up some people from, yeah, Hitesh, is your mic on? You have a camera? Do you have a camera or a mic? I don't think so. Okay, my second attempt went wrong. Okay, no worries. Okay, fine. I won't try again. Probably, I thought everybody was there with the cameras and microphone, but anyway, it's okay. Next question was from Paul. Hi, Paul. Yamaha PSR. Okay. Oh, so Paul has a question about Yamaha, the PSR 775, and the previous SX, oh sorry, the previous 775 and the current S700, and another brand with K, with PA 700 you're talking about. So you want to know versus, right? Okay, so to start off, how can I start? First of all, the 775, the S775, was a fabulous keyboard. It had its time and it was competing with the 700 at that time. But with the SX, the whole game changed now. Okay. Now, when I say game changed, is because now the SX is, like if this was the 775, the SX has gone really, really high because a lot of things have changed in the SX series. Okay. So immediately you can compare it with any other board. If it was comparing with the previous board, now you have the SX here, so there's no comparison at all. However, people always, I have come across people who are comparing it based on the features of this particular board does this board have, okay? Which I always say, if you want to buy a keyboard or you want to know about some keyboard, you have to know what you want from the keyboard first, okay? Not based on what that keyboard got functionalities. To be honest to you, I've seen so many people, who play the keyboard in church, maybe as a hobby, as for or even in the band. They use like 20%, 30%, max 40% of the keyboard. That is what happens with them. And because they don't know much about the board, they don't know how to improve their playing. So during the workshops that I used to do before, we used to get everybody and teach them all the new features. So getting to know what you want is very, very important first. Now, every keyboard player needs basics. Okay, when I say basics, I mean to say great sounding instruments. Like you have a great piano, a great EP, some strings, some good brass, some great pads. If you want like some saxophone, flute, if you want some Indian instruments, you have Indian instruments also. So these instruments have to be really, really top class. Okay. With Yamaha, I found that these sounds are very, very close to the real instrument. Why? Because they are sampled from the same instrument. Okay, same live instrument. That's why you have the same articulations. So as you look, we're talking about the SX is a pro keyboard, and obviously the sounds are very pro. That means if you're talking about articulations, like special super articulations, that is only available in these models. Okay. Saying that, using these voices, the styles have been made now. Okay. And now the SX styles have got this new system where, if you know about recording, you'll understand when you record some sound like a drums or any instrument you record, then you have like a frequency or some place where there's a lot of dirt and a lot of extra noise that has to be cleaned out. The SX series has got all these removed. It sounds very, very clean, very clean. So automatically when you're connecting it to the main PA, you have got great sounds. These sounds are made great styles, and now you're able to play what you want to play. If you want to record a button, 16 tracks like this, you can record. If you want to convert them into audio, you just click a button. Inside the keyboard, you can record audio. You don't need a special pen drive. Later on, you can shift it there, but you can do that. So, I mean, I can go on for days to tell you about the SX, but we are again talking about the I series and Indian way of playing. So for more details, probably Paul, we can probably come at the next webinar that we do about about the SX series or the I series workshop. Then probably we can talk more in detail about some stuff like that, and probably you'll understand how easy it is and why I say it's great. Okay. Vivan has a question again. What is the full form of DSP? What is the exact meaning of that? So DSP means digital signal processing. If that is okay for you, you want to know the exact meaning, right? If you don't know what it means, what it does, then it's okay. Then we have a question from Chetana. Okay, Chetana, can you play for release at the end of the webinar? Definitely.
Sure.
If you want to hear a sad song, definitely we'll play for release. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, Vishant also. Hey Vishant. Any more questions we have? Still waiting for questions to come. Are we having more questions? I think we are done then. I think we are done with all the questions.
Everyone's sad that we are ending. That's why no one's asking questions.
No. You can still ask questions. We're still open to questions. Yes. Yeah. Anybody has a question about the Indian classical, ideas or something like that? Because, as I said, this is the last webinar. This is the last opportunity that we can discuss about this particular topic. Especially if you want to know more, that Adolf can share with you about Indian classical music, things that you want to know, and some stuff that you're kind of stuck up with. This is the perfect time to ask. If you want to ask about keyboards, I'm always there. But Indian classical music, it'll be good if you can ask those questions now. Otherwise, it'll be difficult.
And for the people who have missed the previous webinars also, everything's there on the official Yamaha India page of YouTube. You can just go there and check the previous webinars also.
Oh, question comes from Vishant. Does modes are enough to cover up Indian classical ragas? Not really, Vishant. Modes are used in a lot of jazz music if you listen to. Indian classical has got, I don't know, 2,000 more than 2,000 ragas. However, with jazz, if you know 7 modes, yes, you can play a lot of jazz. That's what I can say. You can play a lot of jazz, but yes, you cannot say that it's enough for Indian classical ragas. To begin with, also, if you think about it, see, everything is gradual, right? You start off with basics. So if you start off with like 7 modes right now, good enough. You just study them thoroughly inside your mind, like me, okay? Then you get very happy, like, yes, I learned all of them. Then one classical raga will come like this, and then you'll get like, oh shit, I gotta learn now more. Then you'll be in that position. So best of luck, Vishant. Learn some basic stuff, and then you just so overwhelming to listen to all these Indian classical ragas that you start thinking, oh shit, I gotta do something now. Learning is never going to stop like this, but it's good. It'll keep you on your toes all the time.
देखिए जैसे राग में there are so many rags. There are over 1,000 rags, but they're all divided, like for Indian classical Hindustani, they're divided in 10 main parts. ठीक है? So any rag that you take, you remove one note from it, it becomes another rag. You add another note to it, it becomes another rag. There's so much. You just have to play around, learn a lot of stuff, and then you'll just get it.
That's true. Okay, we have a question. Vivan wants you, Adolf, to play a classical. We'll play the for release in the end of the show. Paul, should we practice with touch on or off? Always touch response on. Always.
On.
Because you cannot at all bring out your emotions without switching on your touch response. Imagine if I'm playing something, okay, I'm just playing something soft, I want to feel soft, I'll play the keyboard softly, okay, but the moment I want to make expression of something, I'll be hitting it hard. Now the sound does not go loud and soft like how I'm talking. If I talk in one volume all the time, it will be not pleasing to your ears. So I need to modulate the volume. So instruments are basically our addition, you know. So what we are feeling, we will try to emote it through the instrument. That goes to many people, and then they will feel that feeling that we're trying to show. So that's why acoustic instruments, when you play, you can emote well. People can connect very quickly with acoustic instruments. Like keyboard are also very easy to connect with. You always know how to where you're playing them. So having touch response makes a lot of difference. A lot of difference. I've seen so many people switching off touch response and trying to play, and it doesn't sound so great. It doesn't sound so great. People say for, like for instance, harmonium, there's no touch response, but especially in the i500, if you press harmonium and you play, touch response is on. It will give you that same feeling, okay? But every instrument got its own way of playing. So if you switch on the harmonium in the i500 and play, you have that, you know, that belus coming in. Adolf, can just play some line very slowly.
Yeah. जैसे आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था टच का. सो whenever you're having touch, when you're playing something, जैसे मैं अभी एक बजा के दिखा देता हूँ. अगर if I'm playing everything, there's no emotion there. But if I'm playing something with touch, so it just changes your mood altogether. What you want the instrument to show, you'll have to switch on the touch always. And as Glenn told, you can listen to the bellow sound.
Exactly.
Harmonium mein, you press the bellows like this, and I hope you can listen to the bellow playing.
Yeah. A question from Vivan: how can I connect a keyboard to a computer, laptop in a meeting? In a meeting for a proper voice. I mean, as I said, Vivan, you know, we did this thing last time about, you know, I explained in the DIY, do-it-yourself video that we did. You just need to connect your keyboard to an audio card. So when you connect it to an audio interface, you connect all your sounds to that. Like it's your microphone, your keyboard, maybe your guitar or anything like that. Everything goes there, and from there it goes straight into the computer using a USB. That's all about it. It's like a bus. You put all the stuff in that, and then the bus sends everything to the keyboard. So when you come on the computer, you see your settings. You see in your settings, you will find your sound card coming up there. So there's a Steinberg thing that I told you guys about. Is a bundle which comes with the Steinberg audio card with a microphone, which is really good to begin with anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Any more questions?
Yes, we're waiting for some more questions. Okay. Yes, we have some more questions coming up. Okay, Paul. Okay, Paul says, what is the use of MusicSoft Downloader? Okay, so Paul, MusicSoft Downloader is a software that Yamaha you know, gives it for free. It's online. You can download it for Mac or for Windows. When you connect it with any keyboard that you have, it's basically for the keyboards which don't have a USB. Okay, so what you do is you connect the keyboard with the Microsoft Downloader, and you can, because you have, you know, limited space in the keyboard. Example, you have done some registrations, you have recorded some songs, so you can send all that information to the MusicSoft Downloader, which will save all that setup into one file. Okay, so example, I play in a school. Then in school we play 5 songs or 6 songs or whatever. So I name it like day 1, 5 songs. Okay, I put that. So now I will take all that and I'll send it to the MusicSoft Download. It'll save on the computer. So computer becomes a saving device. Then I record another set. I save that also to the computer. So when I can just see it, I know exactly, okay, this folder so and so was made, this folder so and so was made. So when I want to recall those songs, I can just connect it and send it back to the keyboard. So that is one of the ways MusicSoft Downloader works. If you have old keyboards of Yamaha like the i425 or the i455, you can also use it to transfer registration data of Trinity to the keyboard. There is a video online where I'm explaining of how we can connect the keyboard to the computer using the USB to host cable, and how we transfer the data from the keyboard to the computer, from the computer to the keyboard. Okay, with the I series, things are much more simpler because you can make all your settings, all your songs, and you can save it onto a USB thumb drive, which is very convenient. So when I'm traveling, mostly I just travel with USB sticks. So I just connect it and just load my settings, and the keyboard becomes mine. All my settings starts working. So it's very convenient way of doing it. Previously, like I used to use a laptop and to transfer my data. So it's just a much more convenient way to change location of your data and save them properly. Okay. All right. What else do we have? We've got so many people online, but very few people are asking questions. I wonder why. Yes. Mm-hmm. I think we are done with the questions.
Done with the questions.
I think we are done. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Oh, when I say that, another question comes. Yes, that's right. What are function, tempo, measures, function, display, right knot on the other surface? Top knot, huh? In display, right top of the outer surface. What are functions, tempo, measure? Functions in display. Okay, so Paul, I don't know what keyboard you're talking about. If you're talking about the I series, then they have got a very clear display which shows all the information while you're performing. Okay, so when you're playing a song, you want to know what tempo you're playing, or what what voice you're using. All that information is coming on the main screen. So when you're performing a song, example, when Adolph sings the song, he can look at the screen in one go and come to know exactly what tempo, what voice he's using. And the function button that you're talking about is again the button that has been placed on the keyboard physically, which is called function. And when you click that, you get into the function mode. So on the keyboard, you'll find these small boxes that are there. These are only all the functions of the keyboard, all the features that the keyboard can handle. It's all mentioned there in small boxes. So when you click them, they will come up, and then you'll get all the, you can go deep inside and then check all these things. Yes. Yeah, probably in another, an I-Series, webinar where we talk about the playing of it and talking about detailed features. Probably if you have the board also, it'll be really awesome. Then we can really, connect, and then we can do a lot of stuff then during that webinar. Okay. Yes, that was good. Okay, we'll wait for that. Let's see. Paul, is your mic working? Because I really want to get somebody online today. Paul. Yes, Paul's mic is on. Paul, do you have a mic or a camera? This is the last time I'm going to do this. Now, no one picks up. No. We are not having any luck. That's okay. Oh, that's sad. Anyway. All right. Do we have any more questions coming up? Any more questions coming in? I think so. Yes. Yeah, no questions come up so far. Let me see this. Yes, no questions so far. Okay.
All right.
Do we wait for some more questions? Okay, I think we are done with the questions. Finally. So it's really relieving now. Just come back to our session again. Yes, so I really like to thank everybody to be here for all these beautiful 8 sessions, including today's sessions. I really want to meet all of you guys on Instagram, Facebook. You know the page already. I'm going to keep telling you again and again. The YouTube page is there. Please connect. Be a part of the family. Now you guys are already family, but just get connected more. Get to know the more updates of when the next webinar, some different stuff. You're interested, please join. It's always good to have everyone learn more and more stuff. The website, in.yamaha.com is the website. Any information you want to know, please log in over there. Also, if you have any queries about something is with your instrument or something like that, you can always get information over there. There's a customer support section where you can fill up a form, write down a lot of stuff. Many people even make a phone call and they don't know exactly what is the query they have. So I always tell them, just write it down in a piece of paper. Then when you are sending an email, you can just jot down the email. You know exactly what you want to ask. Okay, so do that. It'll be very, very helpful for us to help you guys better. And yes, it's been really a good time. So I think we will ask Smita is somewhere here. Yeah, she's here. Okay.
Thank you, Dolph. Thank you, Glenn, for such a lovely and wonderful session. From Yamaha Music India, I would like to thank everyone for their presence. Hope this session helped you in your better understanding of Indian music. Post this session, you will get a thank you mail and a small brief of today's session. We have also shared email ID on the mail. So if you have any queries regarding musical instrument, you can contact us. We will share a feedback form with you also. Please share your ideas also in the form. Your reviews and suggestions are very, very important. And at last, good night. Thank you all. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you.
Yes. So before we close, Adolph, can you just play the Furry Lee's last time so everybody's happy with the last song?
Do you want me to play or the keyboard?
Let the keyboard play. Awesome. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you guys soon in another webinar.
Good night. Take care of yourselves. All right.
All right.